Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. It is Wednesday, August 30th, and we're here for my research methods class, week number 3, Twitch live stream. I see a bunch of you getting logged in, getting your names in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Can you all hear me and see me okay? Just make sure everything is coming through all right on your end. If someone could let me know in the chat, that'd be amazing. Just like a thumbs up or a yes if everything is good on your side. Wait just a second here just to make sure. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate it. So we are through 2 weeks of our class, and we are in week number 3. I want to give you a little bit of feedback from last week, and then we'll, of course, look at what we have going on this week. We do have our first of 4 homework assignments due this week, so I'll spend some time going over that to make sure you feel good about it. We'll look at all the different components. I'll, of course, give you your extra credit question for the week, and then I'll end with seeing if there are any questions for me. So I hope everybody is doing well. It is definitely hot outside. I've had an eventful 2 days. My abnormal psych class in person had a COVID outbreak, and we all had to wear masks today. Felt like we were back in 2022 or 21 or something like that. It has been an interesting week, so I hope you're all hanging in there and doing okay. Let's go ahead and head over to Canvas together, and we'll go through our stuff for the day. So week number 2 is in the books, right? So we are done with week number 2. Let me just give you a little bit of feedback from last week, just to make sure that you kind of know where you are in comparison to everyone and kind of what I'm looking for. So with discussion number 2 that you had due last week, let me pull this up here. Most of you did a really great job, right? A lot of you answered these questions really nicely. There were a lot of 13, 14, 15 points on this. I was looking for you to describe the differences between science and pseudoscience. What is the demarcation problem? And then some problems with the science versus pseudoscience classification. And a lot of you, as I mentioned, did beautifully. The biggest reason that people lost points was just not elaborating enough. So if you found that you got 13, 14 points, you missed a point or two, make sure you give me a little bit more moving forward. Always better to give me too much than not enough. And don't forget to also do the peer response. Those 2 points for doing the peer response are very easy 2 points to get, and you want to make sure that you're getting them consistently. So we have kind of one more topic here this week, setting the stage as we're getting closer to some of the core content of this course. But we're doing the second half of chapter 2 this week for week number 3. And I put the pages here. It's about 14 pages in the book. So as always, you're going to want to do 3 things for every week. So you're going to want to read that second part of the book in the textbook, right? So make sure you read the second part of the chapter in the textbook. You're going to want to read through my lecture, and then of course watch the lecture video and take notes. Those are me lecturing to some PowerPoint slides. So as usual, right, anytime I give you a link, click on it, a video, watch it. There's a couple of things I want to point out in here that are important. So page 1, we have our objectives and summary like usual. But page 2, there's a couple of things on here that are going to be really helpful for you, not only for the discussion this week, but also for the homework assignment and just kind of in general for the content of this class. So the first part here is covering academic versus non-academic sources, evaluating websites as sources, and then if you scroll down here at the bottom here, there is a library session that I recorded. And so our librarian, Danielle Caprellian, recorded a session with me. This is going to be very, very helpful for you for the discussion and the homework assignment this week. So make sure you watch it. I tried to kind of go a little bit lighter on the lecture on my end because I'm having you watch this. But she's going to go over how to access the online databases. She's going to talk a little bit about academic versus non-academic sources, things that are going to very much help you this week. So I would definitely recommend watching this video. I think it's going to be really helpful for you for that. And then on the last page, as usual, are the key terms and review. So here are the terms that you need to know from Chapter 2, Part 2. Just a handful of terms, but things that are going to show up on that first exam that we have coming up in about a week. So if it were me, I'd kind of be studying a little bit as I go along. So if you wanted to study the topics from this week, it would be these terms right here that you'd want to start working on for that first exam. So again, watch that library video, click on anything that's in here. Don't forget to also watch my lecture video, right? So it's me lecturing to some PowerPoint slides, and that's going to be really helpful. Let's see. Sorry, it was a comment, but then it doesn't look like it was necessarily a question. So then after you've done those things, after you've read the chapter, read the lecture, watched the lecture video, you'll also want to complete discussion number 3. And as usual, you have my instructions up here at the top. You're going to want to watch my brief video, be detailed in your responses. Think about them as like little mini papers. There were 15 points, 13 for your responses to me, and then 2 for a peer. But this one is all about like looking at sources of information, just like we're covering in our reading for this week. So you're going to choose a specific topic related to psychology. PTSD, depression, anorexia, EMDR, motivation, personality, conditioning, anything related to psychology. And you're going to use the same search using 3 different platforms. A general search engine like Yahoo or Google or anything like that. Then you're going to try Google Scholar and then Psych articles. And like I mentioned in that little library video, she shows you how to use Google Scholar, how to use Psych articles, and then I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with doing like a Google or Yahoo search or whatever. After you've completed your search, you're going to answer these questions related to Chapter 2, Part 2 on sources of information. So what was your topic? Right? So tell me what the topic was that you were studying. And then you're going to reflect on the differences between the 3 different search platforms that you used, right? So you're going to write about what kind of information did you get from your general search engine? Were the results based on research? Was it more commercial websites or blogs? Like, what did you see? Which of the 3 platforms is easiest to use if you want a general overview of a topic? Which platform gave you the most up-to-date research? And which of the 3 makes it easiest to know if the information has been peer reviewed? So you're comparing these different sources, right? So Google, Google Scholar, and Psych articles. Then you're going to talk about what is the difference between an academic source and a non-academic source, and give me an example of each. This is something that I covered in the lecture and also Danielle covered in her video. And then you're going to give me an advantage and disadvantage of using something like Wikipedia. And again, I covered this in my lecture along with the lecture video, and so did Danielle. So really important to be using all of those components. That's going to help you have everything you need to do this. And then you'll answer, right? So you can see people here have already started doing that. Tom has already done it. Make sure you not only reply to my questions, but also to one of your classmates. So that is the discussion for this week, looking at sources of information, comparing different sources. And you're going to be using something very similar, kind of doing similar things with homework assignment number 1. Hopefully everything this week is kind of coordinating together to help you understand the materials. So let's take a look at homework assignment number 1. This is our first 25-point assignment. And you'll be doing 4 of these throughout the course of the semester. They're worth more than a discussion and less than an exam, so you definitely want to take them seriously. So homework assignment number 1 is due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Hard to believe this Sunday is September 3rd. Like, we're almost to September. It's practically like Halloween time. I'm ready. So with this, again, it's worth 25 points. You're going to be uploading a document, right? And you can see right here where it says start assignment. When you click on that, it brings up the spot where you can upload. And then let's go through the instructions. So let me go through this so that you are feeling good about it and you know what to expect. So the general point of this first homework assignment is for you to gain experience locating an APA-style empirical article through Psych articles, which is our one of our databases in our library. It's also to help you practice locating specific components of an empirical article. So really, again, it's going to be helpful if you watch that video by the librarian. She's going to show you how to use Psych articles, which is pretty intuitive, but I think it will be really helpful for you. So here's the kind of formatting and length. This should be roughly like 1 to 2 pages, standard margins. It's obviously going to be typed. You're submitting this here online. So Times New Roman font, double spaced. Start getting in the habit of using like standard APA like stuff, which I have spelled out here for you. I also really want you to label everything. Make it very easy for me to see each required component of this assignment. I'll show you a sample submission and I'm going to show you what you need to do, but make sure everything's labeled and clear. So you're going to be going on to our Moorpark College website, and I gave you the website here, and you're going to be going on to the Psych articles database. And I gave you some quick steps here, but remember Danielle went over that quite a bit in her video that's posted under the lecture for this week. You're going to pick a topic related to psychology. Now, if you want, this could be the same topic that you used for the discussion. That's totally fine with me. Or if you'd like to use something else, that's fine as well. So you're always welcome in a sense to kind of double dip. So if you want to use the topic for the discussion, that's fine. You're going to locate an empirical APA style article. And you'll know it's APA because you're looking in a psychology database for one. But you want to make sure it has all of these sections in it. It has an abstract, an introduction, method, results, discussion, and references. So make sure that it has each one of those sections in order to be what is going to be helpful for this paper. You're going to click on the full PDF full text option. You're going to download and save a copy of this. You will be uploading with your paper. That way I can look at the article and I can compare your submission with the article to make sure you did things correctly. And I enjoy reading these. Sometimes you find really, really interesting stuff and it's fun to read it. So in addition to uploading your PDF, so you're going to upload the article right here as a PDF. And then you're also going to upload and answer the following in a document. So you're going to give me the author, the title, the authors, and the publication information for your article. You're going to copy and paste the abstract for your article and label it abstract. You're going to copy and paste the first sentence for the introduction, method, results, and discussion sections and label them appropriately. So you'll say abstract and then copy and paste it. Introduction, then copy and paste the first sentence. Results, the first sentence, and so on. Then I want you to do a quick read of your article. Don't worry about understanding it completely or getting everything down, but give it like a quick read, a quick skim, and you're going to summarize the article in just a few sentences as if you were telling someone else about it. So your article link, the PDF of your article that you're submitting, along with your paper, will be due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Sorry, I forgot to update the date on here. Let me change that really quickly so that I don't confuse any of you on accident. That's the last thing I want to do. So let me just update that really fast. So it's this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Where did it go? Oh, right here. So that is Sunday 9/3. Sorry about that, at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so that's updated now, so hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody. But again, the big thing that you're doing here is you're finding an article, you're going to answer these questions, you're going to do a quick summary, and then you're submitting it right here through this link by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Now you are limited to a couple of different formats, doc, docx, PDF, and RTF. So just be mindful of that if you're using like Pages or something like that. You might have to adjust. And also the Google Drive links don't work very well because I don't always get access. So make sure it's one of these formats. And I gave you a sample here of what I'm looking for. Now this should obviously be its own separate page and document, but you'll notice you're not necessarily creating much that is new. What I'm looking for here is that you can find an APA style article and then you can identify the different sections and copy and paste that first sentence to show me that you found it. So you're going to give me the title. You're going to give me the authors. Here's the journal and publication information. And again, you're labeling it to make it very easy and obvious for me to see. You'll write abstract and then copy and paste the abstract. Introduction and then copy and paste the first sentence. Method, then copy and paste the first sentence. Results, first sentence. Discussion, first sentence. And then the one part that you're creating kind of uniquely is your couple of sentence summary of the article that you read. So like I said here, the study was examining stigma toward schizophrenia versus stigma toward diabetes. And researchers found that people reported greater levels of fear and sat farther away from people with schizophrenia over those with diabetes. So again, that's kind of the general format and goal of this paper. finding an article, reading it, understanding where you can find each component of it, and getting familiar with that database on the Canvas, or I'm sorry, on the Moorpark College course website. So again, remember, this is worth 25 points, and it's due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Definitely spend some time on this, right? These are worth more than a discussion, so you want to make sure you get those 25 points. And then also, of course, do discussion number 3. I also have a little very quick survey for you this week, and it's only worth a few points. But what I want you to do is kind of let me know where you're at. Okay, and so what I'm looking for here is, I'm sorry, this one isn't worth any points. It's just like a quick 2-question survey. It's totally anonymous, so I won't know who said what. But what I want you to do is just answer these couple of questions about the class so far. Is there anything you're confused about? And just kind of give me your general feedback. You will have a survey worth a few points after the first exam. This one's just me checking in to make sure that you're all doing well, and if there's anything you're confused about, that I can address it. So those are the big things for this week, right? Make sure you read Chapter 2, Part 2 in the textbook. Go through my lecture, making sure that you definitely watch that video from the librarian, Danielle. That's going to be super helpful. You might be a little confused without it. Make sure you also watch my PowerPoint lecture video that I made for you. Don't forget discussion number 3, where you're comparing 3 different ways of looking up information. We went over homework assignment number 1, and then there's that brief little checking in survey just for me to see how you're doing. I will, of course, give you that extra credit question in a few minutes here and post the recording of this later. If you are watching this later, remember that in order to answer the extra credit question, you do need to be subscribed. If you're watching it now, make sure you put your name in the chat unless you're subscribed. So let me give you a couple of quick reminders, and then I'll see if you have any questions for me. So reminder number 1, which I will remind you every week, make sure that you check that you're still subscribed. Next week, we hit week 4, and those free subscriptions are only good for 30 days. So if it did expire, you just have to renew it, and I will show you all how to do that next week when it might be affecting some of you. The other thing that I want to remind you is of our next live stream. Our week number 4 Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, September 6th at 12:30 p.m. Okay, so I just put that in the chat. Sorry, not our, but our week. I thought I spoke pretty clearly, but that's okay. So next week, Wednesday the 6th at 12:30 p.m. is when we'll do our week number 4 live stream. And again, at that point, we are like almost a fourth of the way through the semester. I'll be going over some materials for next week. I'll give you feedback about the homework assignment and so on. I'll also go over exam number 1. So exam number 1 is next week. I'll be spending some time talking about that and how to prepare next week. Somebody asked, where's the library video again? So if you go to the Chapter 2, Part 2 lecture for this week, it is on page number 2. Sorry, I just clicked on the wrong part. Of course, it moved on me. So Chapter 2, Part 2 lecture, and then it's on the second page where it says Beyond the Book. Okay, so if you scroll down here at the bottom, here's the library video from the librarian. Okay, hopefully that helps. And then the last thing that I do have for you, of course, I'll give you the Twitch extra credit question so you can get those 2 points for joining me. You're welcome. And then I'll hang out and see if you have any questions for me. So let me put this here in the chat. And this is something that we're very much focusing on this week, right, as we talk about sources of information. So this is the week number 3 Twitch extra credit question. Here we go. It's in the chat. What are some of the questions you should ask about a website before using it as a resource? What are some questions that you should ask about a website before you use it as a research resource? So let's say you give me like 2 to 3 questions that you should ask, right? So 2 to 3 questions that you should ask before using a website as a resource. And if you're ready to answer that, you go back to Canvas. And we're in week number 3, so you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 3 right here. And then up at the top, let me get back into student view, sorry. Up at the top, you'll click on start assignment. And that's going to open up that little text box, right, where you can type your response. And this is due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So you have a little bit of time for that. But make sure that you are submitting it. I do grade these throughout the week. You get your little confetti and then trophies this time around. But this is worth 2 points. Those of you who are doing this every week, those points are definitely going to add up and help you. So it makes me really happy that some of you are taking advantage of this. It looks like there's about 10 to 12 of you in here with me right now, but I know some of you are probably watching this later. So I will upload and download this a little bit later today. It'll be posted right here where it says recording of week number 3. Otherwise, that is everything that I wanted to go over with you today. We're running at about like 25 minutes or so. If you have any questions for me, I will hang out. I'm happy to show you something again or answer anything if you're confused. Otherwise, I will hope to see you all next week for our week number 4 Twitch live stream on Wednesday. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Stay cool. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy if you can. A lot of COVID cases out there. You too, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for those of you who join me live. It's really nice to have you here. I'm going to minimize my video, but I will hang out for a little while if you do have any questions. Otherwise, have a great week, and I will look forward to hopefully seeing you all next week for week number 4. Again, thank you all so much for being here with me today. And I hope you're all hanging in there and doing all right. And I am still here if you think of any questions. I'll hang out for a little bit still. If you think of anything, feel free to put it in the chat. Otherwise, you're welcome to go ahead and get started on the materials for this week. All right, it looks like everybody is actually logged out. I might be the only one in here, but if you do think of anything else, of course, feel free to email me. And again, have a wonderful week, everyone.